don't seem to come with a price. This game seemed to come with a pretty big price.
Well, we'll find out. I don't know, to eliminate further questions, I don't know, is my answer to all those situations, because it's the truth. Bye week comes at a great time as far as trying to minimize any impact or any potential impact, but, you know, just a gutty win, a gutty win by our team. Huge turn of events, obviously, on the fumble, going into the end zone. Great lesson for all of us. And just really proud of our effort. Had a bunch of guys in and out of the lineup, all over the place, and just an incredible effort by our guys. Definitely not a garden variety 51-27 win, but a big win for a lot of reasons.
What did you see from your vantage point on that play?
On which play?
Fumble, double fumble.
Well, I saw the ball come out where it was, and that was weird. Kind of flashback, was it the Fiesta Bowl, and Chad Johnson did that, or Byron Marshall earlier this year. And that's something that, you know, we talk about all the time, of how to celebrate and how to do all those kind of things. And those guys kept playing. You know, the official was right on top of it. You have to give them credit too, because sometimes those guys, you know, just assume something's going to happen. And that was a big time play.
Did you think
Scott Frost is outside the door if anybody wants to talk to him.
Did you think he dropped it too early?
Well, when I saw the replay, absolutely.
But when it happened though, did you react and the other guys and they did it, or
I saw the ball out, and I don't remember what my immediate reaction was.
Did you talk to Joe? Have you had an exchange with Joe after that play, or in the
Yeah.
locker room?
Yeah, it was a
How'd
huge
that
play.
go?
You know, huge play. We talked about it. There were, like I said, there was something that kind of came up during the week as far as a couple things, and obviously we addressed it in great detail after Byron Marshall's touchback, and just a huge, great lesson. I mean,
Pretty alert.
unbelievable. Huh?
That was a pretty alert play.
Absolutely. He and Eric were fighting over it there for a second, and he broke out of the pack, and big play.
Mark, can you describe the change in spirits on your guys' sideline? I mean, from going down 14-0 to...
It's a lot better being tied at 7 than 14-0. Our guys would have kept playing, no question, and wouldn't have flinched. But that was huge, you know. And then we drove down there and kind of flipped the field there for a couple drives. We were able to get some field goals, which obviously we prefer touchdowns, but those were big, just as far as kind of keeping the pressure on those guys offensively. They did a nice job making some adjustments in their attack as well, with the screen game and complementing the run game that they've had. And great, you know, that guy made a great play on that ball to Troy Hill. 8 made another great play on that ball, and just kind of chucked it up there, and Troy was in great position, and got to give them credit.
Have you become more confident in your kicking game?
Yes. I mean, I think, you know, I think you guys all know my confidence in Marcus Mariota and you know, his exploits. And I'm greedy and I like touchdowns, but I also like points, and we like points, and this kind of game just lent itself to you know, that back and forth a little bit differently.
How about Aiden? He's got 3 tonight and a 40-yarder last week. Are you liking what you see and feeling more and more confidence in him out there?
I would have confidence in Matt Wogan too. It's just, you know, it just happens he's kind of, they've had a little back and forth, and right now obviously, you know, can't. It's like talking about a no-hitter or something. He's got a good little streak going, so hopefully that'll continue.
What was your halftime message to the guys today?
Compete. You know, we knew we were in for a dogfight. These guys, as you saw, are extremely physical, very well coached team. They play their tails off. They've got a bunch of very experienced guys, whether it's from being here or junior college guys that have played a ton of football, and we were in for a dogfight, and we had no bones about that. And you know, just the way the second quarter ended, it was 24-10, correct? Is that right? 24-10. Huh? 24-10.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you guys out.
Mark, it seemed like the pass protection
I
improved.
wasn't done with my answer.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm
No, I
sorry.
didn't. The last time, it's great. Go ahead.
It seemed like the pass protection improved throughout the game. Also, the run game was going pretty hard early. What did this offensive line do in terms of adjustment, especially with the injuries they sustained?
Well, yeah, I think their front was as advertised, you know, and we've been talking about it a bunch. And you see on tape, they get to everybody, and they get to everybody with a 4-man rush, and they're leading the country in sacks and tackles for losses for a reason. They're an unbelievably talented defense, and again, they're extremely well coached, and we learned that the hard way. I felt we settled down a little bit. Still, you know, obviously have a bunch of stuff that we can improve upon in every phase. But settled down and had obviously the drive to make it 37-27 was pivotal. And again, it's one you have to gut out.
Mark, do you guys acknowledge the significance of this win? I mean, you guys clinched a tie, at least for the North.
Duly acknowledged. It's acknowledged.
Did you guys
We just got to,
in there, in the locker room, did you guys acknowledge it?
in passing, you know, I mean, it's something, our guys, you know, we know we've got the next game coming up, and there's a lot more ball to play, and hopefully, you know, we use this time obviously to get back, healthier, smarter. We use it to work on a few things, obviously, in like I said, in every phase. And it's funny, when you get in the grind of the season and how we kind of do things, there's not too much time to sit here and go, hey, you know, Jason, great job, let's sit here and talk about it for an hour. You know, you just don't do that. You know,
It's a goal.
sure, no, and you know, we kind of just are of the mindset of you know, grind, stick with our process, stick with the deal, and look up at the end and see what happens.
Mark, after they had the 2 sacks on the first drive, did you make any conscious effort or decision to move the pocket around more, get rid of the ball, get the ball out of Marcus' hand even quicker?
We had kind of that general plan going into it. And again, we had a couple situations where we had some gap protections where a guy should have been double teamed and he was not blocked, and which that's obviously not helpful for offensive success. And then a couple times we just got flat out beat. You know, number 8, that dude can rush the passer with the best of them. He's going to make a lot of money if he continues to do what he does. And so part of it, you know, we've got to help him better schematically. Part of it is execution, which we coach. That's on the coaches as well.
With the pressure that the defense was bringing, was Mariota's mobility really the main factor in keeping
Don Pelham is out here.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Marcus is special at the elite. He's really good at creating those kind of open field situations, or just breaking the front line and getting huge conversions. We had, had a 4th down run again, a couple 3rd down, big runs, and so yeah, Marcus is really good.
Utah drives and makes it a 3-point game. What do you kind of tell your team and what did they really do well to score that touchdown that very next drive?
Played one play at a time. We played cleanly that drive. We had, again, some uncharacteristic penalties of how they came up. Had a couple of huge plays called back. Early in the first half, again, had a couple of assignment errors. So a bunch of self-inflicted wounds against a team that you can't do that against, and certainly a defense that you can't do that against. And so we just played cleanly and executed.
Mark, what happened on the delayed game out of a timeout?
I don't know. I'm confused about that rule of how they administer some of those things differently, and I tried to get it explained to me, and then later in the game, the exact same scenario came up, and they reset the play clock, which I'll have to get some clarification on that.
So they didn't reset it?
I'm sorry?
They didn't reset the clock?
They did not, and I'll try to ask why.
Yeah.
I know you don't know specifics, but how did the team respond to the injuries? Was the locker room any more severe?
They responded like a bunch of guys that care about each other and battle with each other, and will come out of this as a more united front.
Last question, anybody have one?
Mark, just the sort of gut and grit that you went out, what does that say about your team, especially when you see other teams who are in these spots and sometimes they don't quite, they're not able to do that,
Yeah.
especially on the road?
Yeah, and in this conference, again, we're playing 9-game conference schedule, conference championship game, and you look around the country and there's a few of those that don't do that this time of year. And to come to a place like this against a team like that and win by any fashion is really hard. But the resolve was tested on our guys, and they answered at the bell. Thanks.